Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Keto. And today's fun guest is Stephanie Jones, aka Ketones Jones from Instagram, who has lost 40 pounds. And she's from Arkansas. She's a low-carb beer hunter, and she's been keto and intermittent fasting for almost 2 years. So let's go and say hey to Stephanie. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Keto, the show that highlights ordinary people achieving extraordinary results and changing their lives for the better with a ketogenic diet. You too can be healthier and live better by adopting this amazing lifestyle. If you are new to the show, new episodes go live every Wednesday for your encouragement and support. And all show notes can be found at bewellbeketo.com. Listen each week and add the show to your favorites on your best podcast app. And if you know any cool people that would like to share their story, please contact us at support@highenergygirl.com. And if you want to follow us on social media, which I highly recommend, you can either join our Facebook group called High Energy Girls, if you're a girl, or follow us on Instagram and YouTube at The High Energy Girl. Now let's get to this week's episode with your host, Tracy Gluhite. Yep, that's me. Guess what, everyone? My book is out. It is a revised and updated edition of a book I wrote 5 years ago called No Frickin' Way, 21 Days to Ditch the Diet and Lose Weight the Keto Way by Loving Yourself to Health. When I first wrote the original book, I was not a believer in the low carb movement, but after all the years of research I've done, I am sold out for life. In this book, you will learn about all the lies you have been fed, how to engage in loving self-care, how to eat nourishing foods that provide massive energy, why the ketogenic diet is not a fad, how to heal your body through fasting, why you should move your body to get stronger, and how to create an empowering mindset. Start reading now and finally achieve the high energy and positive body image you deserve. Check it out on Kindle, on Amazon. And if you like it, please leave us a review because this will help more people find it. I really want to inspire people to not deprive themselves, but to nourish themselves with loving self-care and amazingly healthy food so that they can age stronger. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for coming on the show today.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm super excited because I know you have a really nice story to share. So for the listeners that don't know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am Stephanie Jones, aka Ketones Jones on Instagram. I live in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and have 2 kids and a husband, and I eat keto.
Cool.
Continually.
And all that it's good for.
Yes, I love it. I love the weight loss and the mental clarity, all of it.
So what brought you to it? Why? What brought you to there?
So I actually, before I really dedicated myself to, this way of eating, I had my second child, and, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and have for years. But after she was born, I had some very intense anxiety. I felt yucky in my body. Like I just did not feel good. I think other than just like postnatal weight, like I had gained even more weight, and was just feeling really lousy. And I actually stumbled across, who's the guy that does Bulletproof Coffee?
Oh, Dave Asprey?
Yes. Stumbled across his information. And that was like my first inkling into that type of eating. Mm-hmm. I kind of read his blog and studied about high fat, low carb, all that stuff. And I had done Whole30 in the past, and I feel like I just had a high food education. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I knew I knew a lot about alternative ways to eat, but I hadn't really heard of keto until then. So I kind of tried it for a little bit and I felt amazing. And then I got like depressed for some reason. I don't remember why. And just kind of fell off of it and just did my own thing. Oh, I know why. My husband lost his job and we were living in Houston and we were like, what are we gonna do? And so it was just like a tailspin. So we ended up moving back to Fayetteville, which is where I currently live. And fast forward all these months later, he's working for my favorite local fried chicken place and at the headquarters, and they give you free money every month so you can eat their food. And we both gained so much weight in the first few months being home because we were like, oh my God, free fried chicken all the time. And the kids loved it and we were like, woo! And then, I packed on some weight and I revisited, Dave Asprey stuff. And then somehow in that tunnel fell down to like keto. And I came across Healthful Pursuit and, started researching what keto's like for women and how to do it more healthfully so that I'm not like losing my hair or whatever, not losing muscle, and just studied up on it, got on Instagram, followed a bunch of accounts, and here we are.
Awesome.
Like, lots of schooling. I am a research it to death and then hopefully implement it. And I actually implemented this.
Yeah, I researched it for like seriously 9 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's so long. And I think research is a good way to like be excited about something without necessarily having to take real action. It's for people who are nervous, I think, sometimes. And I tend to have a hard time implementing stuff, but I love new ideas. I love an idea. So, it was just one of those things. I finally just did it. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did.
That's awesome. And tell us after you got started, what kind of health benefits did you notice?
Immediately, I was pretty miserable. I think most people feel that way. In fact, my sister really just started doing keto. It's probably been about 2 months. And she's done this to me several times. She'll message me and be like, this first week can kiss my ass and I'm never doing this again. And I always say, just keep going. I promise you it'll be worth it. You just got to get past like those first 2 weeks. And once I got through that slog and, just my body trying to get rid of all that sugar and all that garbage, I could think really clearly. I had an insane amount of energy. And I had noticed before I started that I was just so tired, just everything. I was always tired. And my kids think I'm always tired now because I love to nap, but it's not the same. Like, it was just, everything was exhausting. And I was even at one point withdrawing from like social activities, which is very unlike me. And I just feel like I gained a lot of that natural confidence back to be social again. And just feeling better in my body. That was one of the biggest benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. And the energy that goes along with that feeling better. Yeah.
And it came faster than I thought it would. like within that first month, I was feeling pretty damn amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't have that quite of a story, but yeah, I felt great. I mean, I never felt bad at all.
Yeah.
So never had the keto flu, but I am very,
For
very
real.
faithful in getting
Never.
my salt.
Not a single ounce of keto flu, nothing.
Yeah, that's cool. So what is your Instagram again?
At Ketones Jones.
That's a good one.
I mean, they rhyme. You can't beat that. It was low hanging fruit. I had to take it.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. So tell me, what is your favorite part about it? Like, I'm sure that you were pretty much like me. Like, it was hard to, you're like, oh gosh, really? Is this really true? So tell me what you loved about it.
What's that, keto? What do I love about it? Okay, so a lot of people say that keto is complicated or difficult, and I find it to be pretty easy. I when I did all my research, the exhaustive research I did before I started, I was like, this is going to be really, really hard. And there's so many little things that I need to track or understand. So I'm scared it's going to be so hard. And once I understand, like at the beginning, it is difficult because you're trying to understand what's happening and what works for your body and all that. But once you're like off to the races, it gets pretty easy. And I know pretty much what I can eat and what my body can tolerate. And I don't know. I've found it, and maybe it's just because it's not quite unlike the way I ate before. Because I've always liked meat and cheese and things like that. And green veggies, it's just essentially removing some of the other garbage that didn't need to be there in the first place. So, but yeah, I feel like I can go to the fridge and be like, okay, I'll eat this protein, and I'll have this fat, and I'll have this veggie, and I'm good to go. It's easy.
What, tell me a day in your diet. Like, what'd you eat yesterday?
Yesterday is not a good example because okay, so I've told you this before, Tracy, but just so everyone else knows, I'm not a perfect keto eater, and there are a lot of people who start from day one and never veer off that path. Those are very admirable people. I am not those people. For example, yesterday, let's see, Mexican food. Okay. I did not eat a clean keto diet the other day, but today I had eggs for breakfast. Like scrambled eggs with butter is one of my favorite things. And it's so basic and it sounds so lame, but it's true. And I just love a pile of scrambled eggs. So I had that this morning, and this afternoon I got a little hungry and had these little panino roll-up things where it's like mozzarella with meat wrapped around it. Oh. It's so much cheaper if you do it on your own, but I'm lazy, so I buy them pre-rolled. And I just had a few of those. And if I really want to throw everyone off, I dip it in mayonnaise.
Go do that in a restaurant and let's see what people say.
Right. They'll be like, oh my God.
Did you just do that?
If my friends saw me do that, I do have some friends who are like, yes, mayonnaise forever. But the others would be like, yikes. My husband's one of those. He gets really grossed out when I dip things in mayonnaise.
Oh, how funny. So have you ever tried the Primal Kitchen Chipotle mayo?
Oh God, no, that sounds amazing.
It is the best ever. Right now, I'm off eggs again because I have a food sensitivity BS. But so I miss of all things, I miss those like that chipotle mayo. It is delicious on anything and
Yum.
everything. I swear you got to try it if
Do
you
you
like
just
mayo.
get that at Whole Foods or something? That sounds so good.
Thrive Market is where I usually get it. My grocery store, Nob Hill, has it. Yeah, there's just different places that carry it. It's getting more and more popular.
Oh, that sounds so good. I'm gonna try it.
Have you tried their
I'm
salad?
such a mayonnaise person.
Well, then you'll love this. Like on an artichoke or
Ooh, yum.
yeah, it's super good. So, but I can't eat it right now. I'm off of eggs and eggs are in mayo, so nothing I can do.
Does it just hurt your body? Eggs?
So, many of the listeners know that like I have food sensitivities and literally I just did a test again. So I did a test about 2 years ago and I had really good results and I was really tight on it for 6 months. And then instead of doing what I'm supposed to do, which was gradually add back one food at a time and test your body, I just said, oh, okay, my 6 months is up and I just started eating everything again.
Yeah.
So all the same problems came back and I just let it be. And then finally I'm like, this is BS. And so now I'm back to off of, so I tested recently and almonds came up, egg yolks, egg whites, cow's milk. Yeah, lots of things. So I'm just like, well, I'm going to do this again. So no eggs and I have chickens. I have like 9 chickens.
Oh no.
Yeah. So go try that one on for size.
That's so hard. Godspeed on that. If I lost eggs, I'd be a lost lady.
Yeah, I know.
That's
and
hard.
Think about it though. They are really allergenic. Like think about how you're not supposed to give kids eggs, like babies. You're not supposed it's the egg white that is the worst.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
they are. They're so allergenic.
Well, this is actually different than allergenic. I misspoke when I said that. This is a sensitivity. So a food allergy is an instantaneous response. Like you can get hives or a swollen throat or you can't breathe or you get, that. This is a sensitivity. So it's a delayed reaction. But I'm telling you, almost, I would say 90% of the people I've tested, cow's milk and eggs come up.
Yeah. There are a lot. It's almost like nobody can tolerate milk. Babies.
Yeah.
I had never heard that until I did Whole30 and I read their book. It starts with food and it opened up this whole new world of information. Like dairy's not great for you. And I was like, what? Except I think I can handle it. But I find that kind of stuff so fascinating.
Yeah. They said that the humans are the only species that drink the mother's milk after they are weaned or something like that. Or drink milk after they're weaned.
Yes.
But you know what is better is cow's milk and sheep's milk. So a couple episodes ago, I had Matt Gallant from Bioptimizers, and he was amazing. That was such a good show. Both him and Wade Lightheart did amazing shows on 2 different topics. But he was talking about how there's an enzyme or something in cow's milk that is not in sheep's and goat's milk that can actually prohibit weight loss.
Oh.
So
interesting. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm going to have to listen to that. I haven't heard it. I'm going to have to listen to it.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, that's really cool is that you can easily get sheep's milk cheese. That's the only one I can have. It's Manchego cheese. And then even at Whole Foods, I found a sheep's milk feta.
Yes.
So there's lots and lots of options.
Yum. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to try all this. You're giving me all these ideas. I'm gonna throw them into the mix. This all sounds so good.
So what are some of your weak points?
Like foods that make me weak in the knees or things I struggle with.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many. Some of my weak points are like if I don't plan well enough, I will just reach for things that are easiest and closest, and that's usually macaroni and cheese
Uh,
or like cookies. You know, I have a hard time, or like a lot of people will cook ahead, like do all their meal prep for the week. I hate meal prep. I wish I loved it. I wish that I could get past my block with it, because being as prepared as possible is really helpful when it comes to like trying to lose weight, or just trying to establish some healthy habits as far as eating goes. And I can't. I just can't. And I will buy all the things that I need to do to get ready for the week. And I'll pull that fridge open and I'm like, yeah, no, sorry, buddy chicken. You're not getting cooked today. I would rather spend that time relaxing or hanging out with my family or doing whatever I need to do to get ready for the week that doesn't involve a single ounce of cooking. Yeah. So that's actually one of my biggest weaknesses. Well, if you're talking about like things that hinder you, that's one of my biggest ones.
Well, I don't meal prep, so I guess it's not that big of a hindrance.
Well, that makes me feel so much better, actually.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear, because let's say I'm posting about that on my stories and I'm like, well, here's why I feel like I didn't do well this week. And it involves my lack of meal prep. And I usually hear from one or two brave souls who will be like, I hate meal preps so much.
Yeah, I don't do
and
it.
It's just nice to hear that, because I don't know, I feel like it's pushed a lot.
Well, here's why I don't do it. I don't do it because, number one, I prefer my food as fresh as possible. Number two, I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for to eat that day.
Yes.
And
yes.
What if I'm not hungry? Like I'm really more into like listening to my body and being more mindful.
Yes.
But I do think that for some people, like we're all wired differently, right? Some people
of
are
course.
Very much like that's their jam. They love to track and they love all that. And, for me, I'm just like, I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. So you like to be more intuitive about the whole thing. Like I find tracking very hard as well, because it requires a lot of just sitting there and inputting data that, I have a hard enough time remembering how I even woke up in the morning. And then I've got to sit there at the end of the day and input this stuff, or take the time between my meals and getting back to my life and adding this information. It's just a lot. But I think you can be successful without these things. But yeah, some people just need to have it, just like meal prep.
Yeah. Yeah, totally true. And what about working out and fasting? Do you do either of those?
I love fasting. Love fasting. I've been fasting for, well, gosh, I probably started not long after I started really doing keto, only because I had done fasting before. And I've tried to push past a 16-8. And that's a little hard for me, 16-hour fasting, 8-hour eating window. But I fast most days. And it's usually like from dinner to lunch the next day, whenever that lands, lunch. I skip breakfast most of the time.
Yeah, me too. I feel better when I do that anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel as some days like we were saying about intuitively listening to your body and giving it what it needs, there are times where that just doesn't work. This morning I fasted for as long as I possibly could and then jumped ship and threw some eggs into my face, like as soon as I could. But, other days I can go longer, or, I just listen. And if I think I'm actually hungry, I'll eat.
Yeah.
Working out, I don't. I want to. I used to work out before I got pregnant with my second child. I did, and I lifted weights. I like lifting weights. But in general, I do not. I do not work out.
Well, some people like it, others don't. So that's why I always ask.
I don't like it. I like the results. I like that it's a stress reliever. I like that I feel stronger when I do it. But I physically hate exercise. And this is just, I've tried to tell myself a different story about myself, but it's really hard because this is like from childhood. Mm-hmm. I cannot, I was the kid who walked during physical fitness tests. I was the kid who got a C, eked out a C in PE. So I'm not I've just never been physically driven, really. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was like that when I was young, and I started getting into it when I was in high school or in college. Mm-hmm. And I found a gym. I started doing that high impact aerobics, and I've been in love with it ever since. I think it's because I have that endorphin boost. And when I work with my clients and they say they don't like exercise, my smart ass comment is always, you just haven't found the right one for you then.
Sure. And I believe that. I really, really believe that. And I think that, I think a lot of, I lack the motivation to get there. Even if I know how much I like lifting weights and I know, how good I'm going to feel. I know these things. I've done it before. It's still so hard. It's so hard, Tracy.
Well, like I said, it just depends on if it's something that you love enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
I look forward to going to the gym and getting there and doing what I do. And I like to lift weights, and I use this app, and then I just keep looking at what I did last time, and I keep pushing myself. Like today I did a PR in squats, and so I'm always and then I believe, because I'm way older than you, my mission. Sure? Yeah, I'm 53.
Okay, you're older than me.
Yeah. So,
just a little.
But it's my mission is on teaching women how to age stronger, and that it's not too late to change your trajectory. So that's my thing is really inspiring women to do that. So
yeah, I love that idea too. In fact, I have this friend who is very athletic, and she has to work out every day. It's very important to her. It's a part of her. It always has been a part of her. She competes in swim meets for adults and does all these triathlons and stuff. Very athletic. And she was trying to give me a boost one day and was just I hear women's peak athletic performance is around the age of 40. And I was like, are you just trying to make me feel good, or is that for real? Have you heard that before?
No.
She's very disturbing.
She's trying to just convince you to join her.
Yes.
Her team.
She's like, I know it's just in you. That athletic person's in you. You just got to go and do it. Peak performance, 40 years old. I was like, oh, okay.
I have never heard that, but I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that one slipped by me somehow. But hey,
I never did the research. I just took it for fact.
Well, then go for it. What are you waiting
why
for?
not?
You got somebody out there that's going to help you.
Okay, I'll do it.
I'll tell you, it does. Well, once you find what you love, it does give you more energy. Like, I really do know that. Yeah. So, sometimes you'll just have to figure out what you really like. So what advice would you give the listeners who are just getting started?
Okay. I always tell people to, one, keep it simple. You don't have to buy a bunch of fancy products. You don't have to spend a ton of money on expensive cuts of meat. You don't have to buy the fanciest cheese in the cheese case. Just keep it simple in the range of foods that you like. There's several good people on Instagram that have like these great posts about keto basics. I think that's the best place to start. So I always say keep it as simple as possible. And I also tell people, not to beat yourself up. If you fall off the wagon, and I hate saying that term, if you just eat something that is not necessarily keto, you have not ruined anything. You just need to get back up and do it again. Mm-hmm. Just keep going. The consistency is what will get you the results. And like I said earlier, I am not perfectly consistent. That's not what I want to say. I am consistent. I'm just not perfectly keto. I will go off plan and eat stuff that is not even close to considered keto. But what I am consistent about is coming back to it. And even though I have eaten that way in the past year, I am still smaller now than I was this time a year ago. I may weigh close to the same, but I'm smaller. So just keeping consistent and doing that as much as you possibly can is so huge.
Yeah.
So huge.
I like what you said. God, and I missed it. You have to say it again. I'm going to have to listen to the recording. But you said something really good just then about being, consistent. The consistency is key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Consistency is key. I mean, if it's so easy, especially when you're just starting out. And I imagine it from the scope of Instagram, because I am so deeply embedded in that Instagram community. It's really, really, really easy to compare your beginnings with somebody's ending or their current. And you have no idea where that person has come from, how long it took them to get there, the struggles and tribulations they went through to reach that point. Mm-hmm. So just know everyone has that place and everyone's had their own trials. And it's so important to not let that kind of stuff get you down. Just stay consistent, pay attention to your body. It's all about you and not them.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, I love Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect. Have you heard of it?
Yes. I haven't read it, but yes, I have heard of it.
Yeah, it's a really good book, but it's basically the same thing, is that, good patterns or behaviors repeated over time is what's going to get you to the end result. It's not like you can go to the gym one time, work out and then think, well, where's my muscle,
Exactly. Although it's so easy to do that. I definitely, I definitely will go to the gym and then look at myself in the mirror and be like, well, that was a waste.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But you know what I mean? You have to keep going. And it's so easy to get down on yourself when you're not seeing those results fast enough. And it's just so different for everyone. So that consistency is top priority.
Yep, for sure. Indeed. I agree. Totally agree. Okay, so how can people find you, girl?
I am at Ketones Jones, and that's key. Please edit this out. It's KetonesJones on Instagram, at Ketones Jones.
Awesome. Well, hey, girl, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You are a hoot. I love your personality. You're super silly, and I love it. So
I am. I'm too silly. I know, Tracy. I know. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that was really fun, really silly. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed our show today. If you know anyone who'd make a great guest, please contact me at tracy@highenergygirl.com, and maybe that person is you. If you haven't done so already, please head on over to my Facebook group, If You're a Girl, and join it because it's awesome. It is called High Energy Girls for Women Aging Stronger. All right, you guys, go out and make it a great day. Thanks so much. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.